Sports.
Yes, hello tradies. It's producer Link here. It's been a big couple of weeks on the show with the trade period officially wrapping up on Wednesday. We had our live show last night at St Andrews Brewery. Thank you so much for everyone who came down and joined us. But for those who weren't there, we recorded the show. So here it is. Enjoy.
It's nice that you turned up.
News commitments. You hardly work these days, so...
You turned up at 7:23 for a 7:30 recording. Taking the piss? Or
about normal what I do on a Tuesday morning when we record this show. So glad to make it in time. You're always here early and prepped.
I was here at 4 o'clock.
No work today?
I have a day in lieu. Can I just tell a really flattening story? This is true. Mick up the back will put his hand up and attest to this. Mick, the security guard, welcome to Mick. Mick was working at the darts last night. 97 evictions for Mick. 94, sorry. I turned up and I went out to make sure that the entrance was okay. And I came back and he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm going in." He said, "Sorry, mate, it's a private event." He's like, "Where's your wristband?" And I had to point to the screen and say, "That's me."
It's hard to notice without the denim jacket. I can understand how Mick's got a bit confused.
Mick, is that true? Yeah, thumbs up, thanks. So that was a real sort of, that was a tough moment for me.
It's good to see second consecutive day you're in a collared shirt. So
Thank you.
Nice you dressed up for
Hey, I haven't seen you since Tuesday. How was trade deadline day?
It was great. So for those that aren't aware, Sam never rocks up to any press conferences throughout the year. He normally holds himself for the combative last day of trade period. Last year it was Tim Lamb. I was looking forward to him maybe going heads up with Ross Lyon yesterday, Justin Lepich, maybe Matt Rosa from Essendon. I think he needed a little bit of a push along yesterday. Sam was nowhere to be seen. So I've come in tonight saying, where the hell were you? Are you able to share what you told me off stage before?
Well, I didn't tell you anything. I said I was out hunting a story and it blew up in my face. So
no airports, no golf courses. Where were you?
I can't say. This is not good podcast fodder. It's not funny at all. But at about 5:30, I got wind of another story breaking.
Around trade?
Around trade. And I spoke to my editor about it and she said, "I think you should go." And I went and I didn't get the story. So I missed trade deadline day, which, to be honest, was a blessing. Like, who wants to stand there with 60 other journos?
It's like seagulls fighting over a chip in there.
And 18 clubs, all of whom hate me anyway.
And they lie less on the last day than they do on the first, but there's still a few little fibs getting thrown around, which we'll get to in the awards a little later.
I think we should just get straight into it. Any Essendon fans here? Oh, shit, half the membership.
Jeez. They've come out in force after the skipper's been forced to stay.
Can I get, who's happy that Merritt stayed?
Oh, geez, that was underwhelming.
Hang on. Which of those Essendon fans wanted him to go? Lots?
It's more than half.
Wow.
So Essendon wanted 4 first-round picks. Depends if you could argue that pick 22 is a first-rounder, but for the technicality it is. So they wanted 4 first-rounders. Hawthorn were only prepared to give up 3. And Essendon were also keen, if it wasn't going to be the 4, they wanted a Cam McKenzie or a star player thrown in there. So who they are, you think about the Hawthorn Stars, but I think Cam McKenzie was the one on the tip of their tongue. He wasn't going to get thrown into it. It was Henry Hustwaite in the end, and that wasn't going to do it. So Essendon, in the last 5 minutes, they went back to their board, and they said, no, we're keeping him. He's staying, and he's going to have to go through the pre-season, which will start in 3 weeks, and they admitted last night it's going to be an awkward day one. I think that might be a little underestimating what it's going to be like on day one.
It's a shocking decision. It's a cataclysmically bad decision.
Yeah, it's funny because the rhetoric out of Hawthorn today was that at the start of our rebuild, 4 or 5 years ago, they would have loved... there's been great back and forth between Hawthorn and Essendon the whole way through on this, but the rhetoric out of Hawthorn today was we would have loved the hand that was presented to us, that we presented last night, to have come to us 4 years ago. So I think these barbs between the Hawks and the Bombers are going to continue for a little time yet.
Do you think, and this is not meant to sound like a sarcastic question, I know it's going to come across as one, do you think if they had a better record in the last 10 years of picking talent in the draft, that they would have backed themselves in?
Potentially. But
do you think they were scarred by, the Sardises and the Hobbses and...
Yeah,
I'm sure
potentially.
There's 50 others that they stuffed up.
Yeah. Nick Cox.
Yeah, Cox was at setback.
There's a concussion's taken hold there. Did you mention Perkins?
He's okay, though.
He's okay, but he hasn't...
He's not a top tenner.
He was dropped a couple of times this year. even though I pumped him up at the start of the year with Elijah Sardis.
It was difficult to get dropped from Essendon this year, in fairness.
There's about five of them.
You also said Nate Caddy was going to be Charlie Curnow, which hasn't aged particularly
Well, he kicked 20 goals in year 2, same as Charlie.
And you said Colby McKercher was going to be Zach Merritt.
Give him a couple of years.
He finished 7th in North's BNF.
He's 20.
It's actually harder. It's hard not to finish in the top 3 of North's BNF.
Yeah, Taron Thomas finished top 6 a few years ago. Only played 11 games, but we won't go there.
I didn't know that.
I want to go back to something you said on the podcast 2 days ago, that Essendon already had 5 picks inside 25. So for what is many recruiters will say is a weaker draft, they didn't need more top-end picks in their mind. So they needed star players. That's why the Mackenzie thing came up so strongly, and they're going to back in what they've got. Although they could have done with some more picks, they feel that the merit and the flag in the ground with the new president was worth more to them than getting extra first-round picks on top of the 5 they've already got.
But so don't you think that best case scenario for Essendon is that how many games they win this year? 5?
7, 8 at a guess.
Did they win that many?
Well, they started the year okay.
They couldn't have won 8. Has anyone got a ladder in front of them? How many games did Essendon win? 6.
Oh,
Thank you,
split
sir.
the middle.
So they won 6. Like, best case scenario next year, Essendon win 8. Merritt wins his 7th BNF. And it's like, where are we?
Yeah. But I can understand the club wanting to stand for something. They haven't really stood for much over the last couple of years.
But stand for what? Stand for, we're not going to let you go. Like, that's not standing for anything.
To be honest, I think the 3 first-rounders would have done more for Essendon in terms of helping their list to go forward. I agree with all that.
Yeah.
But once the president puts his flag in the ground, it would have looked more silly for them to backtrack on it.
No, it wouldn't.
I think that's why they asked for the 4th first-rounder, and then that's when they could have sold to their members that it's the biggest trade of all time.
We'll talk a little bit more about Essendon in the Tradies Awards. Charlie Curnow, your thoughts on the deal?
Sydney have sold the farm, I reckon. So they've gone 3 first-round picks plus Will Hayward for a guy that had 4 surgeries in the last 12 months. He turns 29 at the start of next season, and they've extended his...
You're secretly negative on Charlie.
Well, he hasn't shown me much in the last 18 months. I'm
What
not
do
sure
you
if
mean?
anyone...
He's kicked like 200 goals in the last 4 years.
Oh, second half of this year, he went missing a lot. I know there was a lot at play with his body.
Second half of this year, he went missing a lot in a team that went missing. Hard playing full forward for a team that doesn't kick it down.
Nick Larkey kicked 80 goals for North Melbourne 2 years ago, and they had hardly any inside 50s.
That's a fair comeback.
So...
That's fair.
Not only have Sydney had to juggle their salary cap, all this talk about, Charlie's going to take a pay cut, they had to ship Ollie Florent for a future 3rd rounder to make room for Charlie Curnow, and they allowed Will Hayward to go and get thrown in pretty much as steak knives as part of a deal that involves 3 first-round picks. This is a team for Sydney that had a new coach this year. They missed the top 8. If they miss the top 8 next year and they're going back the other way, now I think Sydney are probably going to be on the rise from what we saw this year, but if they do keep going backwards, that's a massive investment for Charlie Curnow at the age of 29. Yes, he brings star factor. Yes, they love the big-name key forward in Sydney. But it is a massive investment for a guy, as I said, whose body continues to let him down. And I'm not sure if you saw the photo of Charlie today. Those knees, they're quite scarred in how many surgeries he's been through. So he could easily turn around and kick 60 goals next year, but he could also come around and play 8 games.
I couldn't disagree more. I think they're getting an absolute superstar.
For 3 first-round picks,
Yeah,
and
but
Will Hayward.
they got picks back. They got 31, 42, and a second rounder next year back.
Yeah, but those picks this year will end up in the 40s, and everyone's saying the draft sort of bottoms out after 15, 20 this year.
Yeah, but that's always wrong. I think...
For those that haven't picked up, Sam doesn't rate the draft.
No, I just don't rate... I think we fall into this habit of recruiters being like, it's not that strong a draft, which is just the recruiter's way of saying, if we fuck it up, it's not our fault. It's just job protection.
There's a bit of that.
No, there's a lot of that. So Sydney are now much closer to a next premiership. I think that's fair and reasonable. They've just picked up a guy that 2 years ago kicked 80 goals. He's a 2-time Coleman medalist.
Yep.
They've given away Florent, who Cox didn't like anyway, and was playing in the 2s.
He dropped him after signing a 5-year deal.
And Hayward, who's a B grader at best. And they've given up 3 first-rounders, but got picks late in the second round back. I think it's an incredible deal for Sydney.
So what if Sydney miss the 8 next year?
I think that's bad.
Yeah. And what about the 5th year for a player who's just about to turn 29 for a 5-year extension? Less worried about that? I want to make clear, I want to see Charlie come out and kick 60, 70 goals. Footy's in a better place. And Sydney, that SCG will be humming next year if he comes out and kicks bags. But
A
look
recruiter-
at his body history over the last 12 months.
A recruiter said to me, I won't say what club he's from. A recruiter said to me on the phone this morning when I was walking, mate, I'm just not sure about Curnow. Like going up to Sydney, small ground, the SCG, like just not sure he'll kick as many goals as you think. And my response was, didn't Lance Franklin do okay? We make excuses. I don't know. I think it's a great deal for the Swans. I think they get closer to a premiership. And I think in the space of 3 weeks since the grand finals finished, Carlton's team on paper has just fallen apart.
Just on the Swans, I guess it is time.
Please don't tell me Florent's going to play half-back. He just couldn't.
Well, I think he's a half-back, isn't he? Whether he can kick or not's another thing. But the Swans, I think it is time to cash...
Is Ollie Florent a good kick? No, thank you. I agreed.
That was a bit
I heard
sweet.
people say yes, but I dismissed them.
Just on the Swans, I can understand it, though, because you cash in while you got Chad Warner maybe for 2 more years before free agency. He's just signed a 2-year extension, so you go all in. You've got Heaney at the peak of his powers, who I think is an A-grader, to be debated. And
he had a pretty good year.
Errol Goulden coming off his injuries. So while those guys are all... Plus Brodie Grundy, you throw those in with Curnow, it does make sense for the now. You just hope Sydney don't fall away any further than what they did this year.
So where do Carlton finish next year?
Chris Davies, the head of footy, said yesterday they're going to be better. They're going to have a better balance in 2026 than they did in 2025. Do you agree with that? With
No.
Ainsworth, Florent, and Hayward.
I forgot about Ainsworth. No.
I would argue that they didn't get a lot out of Mackay and Curnow this year. If Mackay, it's an if, Mackay can play 20 games and recapture some of his Coleman medal winning form with
Big if.
Ainsworth.
Big if.
Oh, it's as big as if as Charlie.
But why are you so negative on Charlie? He had one half...
Why are you so negative on Mackay?
Because he doesn't play often.
Well, Charlie had 4 surgeries this year.
Yeah, but I just think someone's got to you about Charlie. I don't know what it is.
No.
Is it the Geelong connection?
Not at all.
Was there, did a Curnow upset you
The Cats threw up for...
early in life or something? Every time Charlie comes up, you sort of like a great white that's biting down. Your eyes go back.
I did tweet something today which has been playing on my mind for a while. This is not relating to this, but I thought I'll just bring it up now. He bagged the media for saying, you've got to think of our families when you report things back in July when it was reported that he was looking at finding a new home. It was the media's fault, was it?
I agree with Charlie. So question without notice. If Michael Voss was moved on at the end of this year, would Charlie Curnow still be at Carlton?
I think he'd be a much stronger chance to be at Carlton if...
Don't
Voss.
beat around the bush. Would he still be at Carlton if they sacked Voss?
Potentially.
I think it's yes.
Yeah, I don't think they saw eye to eye as much as they would like you to let on.
Michael Voss, a very...
I think Charlie was frustrated that he was pigeonholed as a deep forward, and I think in an ideal world he would have liked to have been thrown around a bit on the ground.
So, Charlie Curnow's first training session at Carlton. Have I told this story before on the pod?
No.
I may have. This will upset the Curnows. His first training session, so they come from a very gifted family. I think that the dad ran for Australia, potentially. Mum also a gifted runner. His 2 sisters are unbelievable runners. And Charlie turned up, and obviously his older brother Ed, who was a workhorse, was there. And his first training session, they did the 2K time trial. And Charlie ran second to Andrew Walker, which was seen as a very good result.
Was he wearing a cap, Andrew Walker? Remember that famous story? They did a full story that he wore a cap to pre-season. It was the back page of the paper one day. Anyway, that's real micro. That's real micro areas. Some people will understand.
Real sort of Channel 7, 645 stuff.
We bring a bit more pizzazz than that.
Yeah, well, you just don't rate as much as 9. Anyway, before being rudely interrupted about a weird story about hats, Charlie ran second to Andrew Walker, and afterwards in the rooms, Ed, who is 6 inches shorter, grabbed Charlie by the scruff of the neck and put him up against the locker and said, "What are you doing?" And everyone was like, what's he getting angry about? And Charlie's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Why did you run second? I saw you go back in the gears and I saw you deliberately run second. And Charlie said, I didn't want to win on my first day. I thought everyone would hate me. So Charlie Curnow was originally drafted as a guy that they thought could play on the wing or in the middle. He's probably one of the most naturally gifted runners in the AFL.
Because he's not a hulking 198. He's only about 193.
I think he's 195. I reckon he's the same
Okay.
height as Cripps.
Yeah.
Well, I think I remember that. And so I think that final against the prelim against Brisbane when they were 5 goals up at quarter time, and then he got mauled by, was it Andrews?
Yeah.
Was it Gardner? Darcy Gardner, thank you, sir.
So it wasn't the final where they started Tom de Koning as the sub. It was the other one.
No, that's when I was at the Great Northern with Allan and my sister, and it's the worst day of my life. Anyway, Curnow, I think, thinks that when he's getting mauled deep forward, that they should push him up the ground. Maybe start him on the ball just for a minute, put him on the wing. Anyway, in the end, Carlton have had a really poor year on the field, and they've lost their starting ruckman, their starting full forward, and their most competitive defender. And I know that Carlton will start. So did someone say what?
Jacob Weitering's more competitive, isn't he?
Jacob Weitering's a better player. Jack's more competitive. I'll go to my grave saying that, which might be sooner rather than later. So I know what Chris Davies said, but I don't think with a straight face you could say that their team has somehow gotten better.
Jagger Smith comes back from his ACL.
Jagger Smith hasn't played. Who knows?
Nick Newman comes back from his ACL, from his tendon knee.
The Weitering stuff's going to get me in trouble, isn't it? It's going to be a Mason Cox thing all over again.
What did you make of the Jack Steele move? He started the trade period as St Kilda captain.
Any St Kilda fans here? Yeah, it's about standard. 3. Any Melbourne fans? No, that's false. That's the most noise they have made at this ground since they won the flag in 20... Oh, no, that was in Perth. So...
I think Melbourne fans just come to the brewery and don't get to the ground.
Yeah, actually, do we have a cheese platter here, Tim and Carla? We should. We should do like a cheese platter and Chardonnay day for all 6 Melbourne fans. They can come and... Anyway, sorry, Jack Steele, yes.
So he started the trade period as St Kilda captain. He ends the trade period being traded for a 2027 third rounder, which with Tassie pick... I'm cautious of saying Tassie, but with Tassie picks coming in, that'll be pick 50 or 60 at a starting point. Plus, the Saints are still paying some of his wage.
How much of his wage?
I don't know exactly.
Because he's on $1 million, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think it was as front-ended. It wasn't as front-ended as the Marshall one, I don't think.
But it was partly.
Yeah. And his last contract he signed was when he came off his second All-Australian. So he was at the peak of his powers and he was worth a lot more in the market.
I think it's clever recruiting from the D's. I think it's smart.
Well, but what about if you look at it from the other way? You get rid of Clayton Oliver, who you're going to pay $600,000 to $700,000 of his contract for the next 5 years, and you bring in Steele. Let's say, just for argument's sake, you're paying $400,000 to $600,000 a season for Steele. You're paying the same as what you'd be paying for Clayton Oliver, but it's just Jack Steele now, who's a year older.
You know what they should have done? They should have traded Oliver and Petrarca a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they could have done. And then they wouldn't be a year behind what they're now doing.
I'm coming around to that.
I just like, if you're a Melbourne supporter, imagine if Clayton Oliver starts dominating for GWS next year and you're paying him $700,000 to dominate for GWS. There's something just, oh.
Well, the Pies want a flag. I'm with you. I think it's Melbourne, and we'll get to that in the Tradies Awards. I think Melbourne completely butchered the messaging and the selling of Clayton Oliver in this trade period. But Collingwood did win a flag while they were paying Brodie Grundy and Adam Treloar.
It's a good point.
To play for other teams.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
That did get them Nick Day. They did have the fact that Nick Dacos was paying for $150,000 while they were paying for Grundy and Treloar, but it is a big investment for Melbourne to go and watch Clary play in the orange.
Nick Dacos, who is the best player in the competition, didn't win the Brownlow, didn't start on the field in the All-Australian team, and didn't win the Collingwood BNF.
And now they're going to change the voting system. They're potentially at the Pies for the BNF.
Very interesting. Hey, can we have a discussion about Jamara?
Yep.
So we talked about this almost on a weekly basis, and I think we both got to the point later in the year where we're like, looks more likely that he's not going to play footy. Is that fair?
For sure, yeah.
I definitely thought that. How long out do you reckon Gold Coast started considering? Because I'll put my hand up. Like, if you went through all 18 lists, I would have got to Gold Coast and be like, well, they don't need him. Like, they've got King, they've got Walter who's not getting a game, they've got Ethan Reid.
Well, they only played 2 key forwards in the finals, and now they've got 4 on their list.
Yeah. I mean, it's clever in a way because it's almost literally cost them nothing.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Damien Hardwick, I don't think Jamari Eaglehagen's on an AFL list next year. This has been solely driven by Dimmer, and it needed some convincing, my understanding, from other people at the Suns to get this over the line. Even when he went up for his medical, there were still question marks as to how all in they needed to be on him. But Dimmer's driven the redemption story. Remember that the Sydney Stack one didn't work out that well, but Dimmer's got history of wanting to back people in and find the best in them. Jamara actually shared a photo last night on his Instagram of him and Dimmer when Jamara was probably 12 or 13 at an Indigenous camp. So Damien Hardwick has had some connection with Jamara for a little while, and the Suns are going to back themselves in. I think people will say, oh, you need to spend a year in the VFL. I think he'll start in the VFL unless there's no way how behind he is that he'll be able to push for selection in the first couple of weeks next year. So we'll learn a lot around how invested and motivated he is by starting the year in the VFL and how hard he wants to work to get into the AFL side.
How many AFL games for Jamara next year?
Oh, I'd say less than half. It'd be a big ask to get past Ethan Reid and Ben King as it stands, plus Jed Walter.
What's in his contract?
I don't claim to know, but it's less than a quarter of what he was going to be earning at the Western Bulldogs. They've essentially ripped that up. It's a new 1-year deal at the Suns.
200 grand.
Is it about that? Yeah, and in terms of the actual clauses, I know that they're a little bit hamstrung by the PA as to what they can actually put in, but...
I'm not sure that I think this contract might go outside the PA.
Are they allowed to do that?
No.
So when do the PA get involved?
I think... So there have been examples of players, who I'm obviously not going to name, that have had clauses in their contracts that have been agreed to between player and player management and club and not ticked off by the PA.
But it just never has to go there?
So, for instance, there was a player in the last 20 years who had to submit a drug test every time he went to the club, and he had to pass it before they let him in. Now, try running that past the PA. They'll have conniptions.
Yeah. But it's either that or you're not playing AFL at all.
Yeah. So I just wonder the sort of clauses that are in Jamara's contract, but I do know that it can essentially be torn up at any time at the club's discretion. But if you're Jamara, you're taking that risk, right?
Yeah.
I think we all want to see a fit and firing Jamara.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Did we talk about Marshall not getting done?
Not yet, no.
So what did they get? What did they trade for Bailey Smith last year?
Was it pick 17 and then they threw in some late swaps, which amounted to not much, but it was 17.
How does Rowan Marshall not go for 19?
Well, Bailey Smith was out of contract. The Dogs didn't really have a leg to stand on, and Marshall is under contract.
Bailey Smith's really, really, really good.
Marshall's a good player.
He's not Bailey Smith territory.
Bailey Smith was coming off an ACL. He was out of contract. It's either that or...
I know you don't rate Smith. I know it's been a hard watch for you this year. I know you think Holmes is better. I know it's all a bit upsetting.
Well, it doesn't make sense when Bailey Smith wins the Coaches Award voted by the coaches.
Not this again.
And Max Holmes wins the Best and Fairest, also voted by the coaches, ahead of Bailey Smith. Anyway, the fact that Rowan Marshall was contract is the only reason. Otherwise, he may have been picked 25 at his age. But the contract does stand for something, and the Saints are like, well, we've got 5 on the bench next year. TDK's coming in. Max King, we're not sure about his body. We'll roll the dice on Marshall. And if doesn't work after 12 months, we'll just trade him.
Did TDK and Rowan Marshall play in the same team round 1?
Yep.
Is Max King in that team?
Yes.
Wow, it's tall.
It is tall, but he's got 5 on the bench.
My man Mason.
Cox.
Yeah. Well, which other Mason is there?
Mason Wood. Mason Redman.
Yeah, Redman. Good one. Yep. No, my man Coxie.
So... You told us on this podcast 4 or 5 weeks ago he's hit a trigger.
Yep. Yes.
And he's still not signed.
Oh, I think he hit a trigger.
Is this one of those ones they're holding off by announcing so they don't want to piss off anyone else?
Yep.
So you think he'll be in black and white next year?
I think Mason will be playing at Collingwood next year.
There you go.
And
does he play round 1?
Well, he just has to play round 1. Like...
In the ruck or the centre forward?
Answer me this. So there's no bounce next year, so they're just going to throw the thing up. Who do you want in the ruck? The Darcy Cameron or the bloke who's 211 centimetres?
The guy that won the Collingwood's Best and Fairest.
I feel like most people agreed with me there. Yeah, Cox? Yeah. Thank you.
Tom Mitchell get another home?
I don't know. That's a good question.
He's good enough to. It's just clubs, we've spoken about this before, but inside midfielders are so low a commodity now. Clubs just back themselves to find the next one at the draft.
And Archie, you've been all over this one for months. Why didn't it get done?
Brisbane stuck firm. They were resolute that he was worth more than a second and a third rounder in the future.
So they're losing for nothing.
They lose him for nothing, but they feel that it's a
So
line
it's the Gold Coast Jack Martin.
It is, yeah. They feel that this is going to make more of a statement to the next time they're in negotiations to other clubs. Don't mess with us, otherwise you're going to have to send your guy the long way round. The interesting part of this is the Crows finished top 6, so they're going to have pick 13 or 14 in the pre-season draft. So they've got past 12 or 13 other clubs to get Archie on their books. Is there a club out there that's going to bite the bullet and take him at the 5 years? It's going to be a heavily front-ended contract. If clubs were nasty and they were doing the proper service to their members, they would do it.
But what's the rule now with putting a price on your head?
Well, you can put your contract terms in. So that the thought is that the Crows...
So you can put a 1 year deal at 1.2 mil.
Yeah, and that's what Jack Martin did. He front-ended the contract at Carlton. So it means that I think it was Melbourne that were also circling around him.
Yep.
So the thought will be the Crows will front-end it. He might be on $1.2 million for the first 2 years in the hope that no one else gets him. But West Coast have got money in their cap. They had a crack at Rowan Marshall, in fact, during the trade period, the Eagles. He's a WA boy. North Melbourne have more money than you know what to do with. Like one of these clubs could do it.
Let's talk about North.
No, we're done with Archie, are we?
Let's talk about North. Do we have one? Thank you, sir. He does not look impressed.
Yes or no for their approach with the key defenders?
I just got the finger.
We just got the finger. It was.
I think it was directed at me, in fairness, not you. So Jai Simpkin doesn't get done and is now not captain.
Well, Todd Viney has said today that he will not be captain.
Wow.
In roundabout terms. I think Nick Larkey will be the captain of the Roos next year.
Okay. Was he vice?
Yeah, I think... Was it he and Sheasel were co-vice captains?
He and Sheasel, yep. So
I think Sheasel may be a year or two off. I think
they wouldn't pull the trigger on Sheasel now?
The Grimes-Trengove stuff, I think, scared clubs off.
What was that, sir?
Sorry, I might be digging up some old wounds there.
Oh, for Melbourne supporters? That's okay.
Yeah, I think Harry Sheasel's a star and will be captain one day, but give Larkey the go for a couple of years.
What was your surprise of the trade period?
Finbar Maley getting traded on the last day.
Yeah, I googled him before.
Oh.
I actually didn't know.
The De Goey one was interesting, just on the Pies.
Yep.
So Justin Leppich said yesterday he was getting bombarded by journalists. So I'll put my hand up. I was one of them asking about De Goey. Clubs felt that Collingwood were happy to deal De Goey at the right price. And when you spoke to Collingwood in the background, they were not shooting that down. I think they were happy for the De Goey narrative just to be out there a little bit and see if anyone came with a top 10 or 12 pick to take him on. He's got 2 years left on his deal. I reckon if someone had to come with 3 or 4 years, Collingwood and De Goey would have looked at it. But Justin Leppich, in retrospect, shot it down and said there was nothing in it. I think there was a little bit more oxygen in this than they were letting on.
Okay. I think the biggest surprise for me was Lecalier.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that he ended up going back to the Giants.
And for the Saints to say that it was the Giants playing hardball and why he didn't get traded, they had the chance to walk into the pre-season draft. There would have been no one else matched those contract terms he was offered at 4 years by 700 plus. For the Saints to say it was the Giants playing hardball as to why he's not there is just the biggest load of shit I've heard of in the trade period. People agree.
You know what, the cute thing is Mitch thinks everyone was cheering because they agreed. Everyone was cheering because you swore. Because he's just such a good boy.
Wait till the mics go down and we can maybe do more of that.
No, I never hear you swear. I never see you do anything wrong. We're an honest citizen.
We're among friends tonight, so sorry for the...
This is being recorded, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you not agree? How can you commit to a guy and then just pull the rug?
I like Gubby and Sauce. So
yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There it is. I thought that Monday when we were having the conversation and Sam didn't pipe in, but now he's admitted it.
I just... it's not a great look.
No.
There were 2 CEOs present at the trade deadline day yesterday. Do you know who they were?
Graham Wright
Is one. Anyone else know the other?
So you weren't there, but you still know this.
I was watching from afar, and I had text messages from list managers. Does anyone know the second CEO who was there? No.
He was actually at the Bombers.
No, not Andrew Welsh. Ross Lyon is not a CEO.
He's Ross
Ben?
Lyon's essentially a footy CEO.
Unbelievable from you, Ben.
going through the clubs. So
I'll give you a
righties
clue. He's relatively new. Paul Guerra is correct. So that's good.
So what are you bringing that up for?
Well, I just think it's strange that a CEO would be there.
What do you think about
With
Melbourne
all
looking
his
at...
football knowledge. That was nasty.
that's harsh.
That was nasty from that person.
What do you think about the D's looking at Waverley as a new home?
Well, it's closer than Casey, in fairness.
I think they'll still use Casey for a bit.
When was the last time you drove out to Casey?
Oh, not that long ago.
Well, give me your time frame.
10 weeks ago?
Oh, what were you doing there? Were you
Watching training?
Stalking Clary again?
Nah. Probably going to a press conference you don't attend.
They do press conferences at Casey.
Yep.
Really? Who speaks?
It used to be Simon Goodwin, now it's Stephen King.
Awkward. Okay. I couldn't tell you the last time I was there.
I think that says more about you than Casey.
I'd rather go to Waverley than Casey.
I think most of us would.
All right, it's a good time to take an intermission. So, a couple of quick points. Lots of feedback in the intermission. People had a lot of votes and ideas for the Jude Law Award.
Oh, yeah? That was a good one.
So the Jude Law Award, for anyone who hasn't been listening, that I haven't given yet because I'm pretty much too scared to, is... So Jude Law was nominated for back-to-back Oscars, Don't Ask Me the Movies, in the early 2000s. And then since then, it's been seen by most women, I think would agree, it's very good looking. And most people hear the name Jude Law and they think, oh yeah, he's a good actor. But my question is, I'm not positive he is a good actor.
Was he a good actor?
Maybe. Obviously the Oscars thought so. You're Googling who Jude Law is. This is unbelievable.
I'm Googling to see his recent work.
I mean, in fairness, Mitch did think that The Dark Knight was the Joker. So, yeah, he might have been in The Dark Knight, yeah. Jude Law was actually Batman. So the question is, which footballer burst onto the scene early in his career...
It had to be like close to A grade, if not A grade.
And then has basically been riding the coattails of that reputation. And when you hear his name, you think, oh yeah, he's a good player. But is he actually a good player? We're not actually taking nominations at this point, sir, but we'll get to it in the question time.
I reckon he's got a good one.
Yeah, I actually have the player, but I checked with my table and they said don't say that. So I'll probably say it later.
You should run a few more of your opinions by them in future.
Okay. Be a pretty vanilla podcast if it was just you talking.
From the intermission, I think they'd be happy with that.
Oh, boy. Okay. That went down a turn I wasn't expecting. All right, Link, hit the button. Let's get to the awards.
And for those that can't see it, Sam has gone the ultimate flex. He's brought his open notebook to tell us that he was at the British Open this year.
Yep. Actually, two boys that I met in Belfast afterwards are both here tonight. Yeah, Oscar and Harris,
wow.
Thank you very much. Yeah, they're here. Welcome to you. I met them in Belfast, and both of them, after a few pints of Guinness, told me that they both thought that I was a jerk and that they were glad that they met me because they think I'm less of a jerk now. That's true. That's true.
That's what these events are made for.
Yeah. Okay, so for those who aren't aware of the Tradies Awards, hello and welcome to you for the first time. It's essentially just awards that we give to clubs for the duration of the trade period that have a movie link to them. So the first one is the Ron Burgundy Award.
I immediately regret this decision.
So for those who have seen Anchorman, it's when he jumps in the bear cave, and that's what he says. And this award is to the team that we think, the club that we think will regret this decision the most.
This is not the club. I think they actually had a pretty good trade period overall. They got Jack
Steele.
Steele.
Try to soften it. Just give the award and be nasty.
They got Jack Steele for a future third. They cleaned up, I think, on the Petrarca deal. But Melbourne absolutely butchered the whole Clayton Oliver handling. From the moment he was sitting on his couch in a Chuka, he was called to a meeting in his manager's office with Tim Lamb, the head of list, Allan Richardson, the head of footy, and Stephen King, the new coach of the Demons, to tell him essentially to find a new club. And from that moment, Melbourne lost every bit of bargaining power they had on Clayton Oliver. It's now seen them pay $600,000 to $700,000 a season for the next 5 years for him to be playing for the Giants. If they had have gone maybe even down the route that they did last year, or just start to get this inside Clayton's head, maybe with 6 weeks left in the season, that even after Simon Goodwin was sacked, hey, it might be best to look for a new home. They may have had more leverage when it came to that trade, but they lost all of that the minute that Clayton Oliver walked out of that 12-minute meeting to be told that he may well end up in the VFL next year. And I think Melbourne cooked themselves. Yes, they won in Petrarca and Jack Steele deals, but when it came to the single Clayton Oliver deal, I think they absolutely butchered it.
That's a long award.
I'll be quicker on the next one. We need to get to the Q&A.
My Ron Burgundy award goes to Essendon. I think they'll regret not trading Zach Merritt when they're 2-11 next year.
There is a lot of support for that call.
The Jordan Peele award.
Get out. Sorry, man.
Okay.
Get out! Yo! Yeah! Yo! Chill, man. Get out! Chill, man.
For those who haven't seen it, do yourself a favour, go and see it. Oscar-winning horror movie. Just outstanding. Jordan Peele, the comedian. It's his first screenplay, and it is chilling and very good. I assume you've seen Anchorman?
Yes.
That's a tick. Haven't seen Get Out?
Nope.
Okay, that's a cross. So the Get Out award is for the club that basically dug their heels in the most and said no, get out. And I'd like to congratulate Essendon on being a two-time winner. So they get the Jordan Peele award as well.
So do they
said
win
they
it?
wouldn't trade him, and they did not trade him.
Well, Brisbane refused to trade Calamachi, despite in the same window getting Oscar Allan for nothing, Sam Draper for nothing.
Yes.
And they could have easily lost Brandon Starcevic for nothing. They ended up getting a pick in the late teens, early 20s, essentially, for Starcevic. But they dug their heels in on Kalachi, the same man that Chris Fagan said on BNF night, we're happy to let it explore his options, but he's walking to the draft.
So the Brisbane for you?
Yep.
I like it. The Coach Taylor award.
Expect you boys to play football. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Friday Night Lights. Amazing. You would have seen that?
Yep.
Okay, we're 2 from 3 here from Mitch.
Before we go any further, I went back to 2023. This is how much time I had on my hands in the last 24 hours. We both said Brandon Ryan
No,
for
I don't
this
think so.
from Brisbane, who's since been delisted. And I put my hand up last year. I said he might be the answer after Joe Danaher, but they found a kid out of the draft at pick 50 or 60, Ty Gallop.
How do your shit takes not take off like mine do? I say something like vaguely offensive and it turns into World War III. You say that Brandon Ryan's going to be Joe Danaher and it's nothing.
Because Link and the social guys look after me.
Yeah. Is that right, Link? Is that right? Who are you giving your Coach Taylor award to? Mine is to GWS for getting Clayton Oliver for $500,000 a year.
I actually didn't have one. I was too excited about bringing up the Brandon Ryan thing.
What do you mean you didn't have one?
Well, I've
You've written down all the awards and you didn't give one.
the most inspired. Who did you go?
GWS.
Yeah, that's...
You can't copy. You turn up at 7:23. You haven't done all the awards. Unbelievable.
Well, getting Clary for 500 to 600 grand.
We might have to do some trading in the host chair of Tradies. Maybe Tom Morris is going to host with me next year.
Oh,
Sorry.
Jeez,
I know the whole Channel 7 thing's still a bit raw.
that reaction made me think there's something else at play.
Nothing else at play. I'm happy to do the pod by myself, in fairness. Let's do the Sarah Marshall Award.
Oh no, just no. Bullshit. No drinks for me, thanks. Bullshit.
Jeez, I love that movie. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay. So we're 2 from 4. Okay, no, I can deal with that. You're 2 from 4. You're 50%. The club that talked the most smack, I am giving to St Kilda for what they did to Lekalier.
I do have St Kilda written down. They said that the Giants were playing hardball for a player they could have walked the pre-season draft.
Just rubbish.
Committed 4 years by 700 plus to a guy who'd been looking at houses in Brighton. He'd already had his sights set on maybe moving into Victoria. Now he's got to go back to the Giants on a 2-year deal. Probably about half, if not less than half, of what the Saints had offered. Pretty poor management from the Saints, I think.
Yep, I agree. So you've copied me there as well?
Yeah, I'll go first on the next one.
Okay, sure. Let's do the Trainee Day Award.
The shit's chess, it ain't checkers.
Trainee Day?
I have seen that. You think you made me watch that last year?
Did you actually watch it?
Yeah.
Or did you fall asleep halfway through?
Both.
Okay, terrific. Denzel Washington's best movie, the Chestnut Checkers Award.
So this is for teams that are playing ahead. I think the Blues did pretty well out of the Charlie Curnow deal. And I think it's...
Don't clap.
I may have said this once or twice on the show this year, but it's pretty average that clubs went into this year's trade period not knowing the rules for next year's draft when it comes to Cody Walker. But the Blues now have more than enough picks over the next couple of years after the Curnow deal to get Cody Walker. It's going to be harder to match father-sons next year than it ever has been, but they're going to get a top 3 talent through the door, and they've set themselves up pretty well.
Okay, I've gone left field for the Chestnut Checkers Award. I've given it to the Cats for getting Nathan Buckley to coach for 12 months before Tassie. Yep.
The same Nathan Buckley that you were with at the gym the day he missed out on the Melbourne job, the same Nathan Buckley you were with at the Sportsbet Melbourne Racing Club Caulfield Guineas, he'd met with the Cats 24 hours earlier, and he refused to tell you on both.
All of that's accurate. It's hard missing out on stories, but I'm getting used to it.
I'm really keen to see why you missed the trade period deadline yesterday now.
I accidentally told someone at the bar why I did, and now I realise that he's going to tell everyone. Who did I tell? Can you put your hand up, please, sir? Who did I... Can you make sure you don't tell anyone? Have you already told everyone on WhatsApp? Okay, good. All right. Because if it comes out, I know who's going to spread it. Yeah.
Blame Chloe Salto, the sports editor of The Age.
Yeah, Chloe knows, that's true, but she won't tell anyone. And the last award, it's the Goodwill Hunting Award.
You see this? All this shit. It's not your fault.
I know.
It's not your fault.
I know.
No, you don't. It's not your fault.
The club that best dealt with the poor hand they were given.
And I have seen that movie.
Yeah, because you sat on the chair in Boston, I know, yeah.
So the Dogs, if you had told me 12 months ago when clubs were offering Jamara 1.5 a year over 8+ seasons that he'd get traded for pick 74, you would have been laughed out of the room. But a lot of what happened this year was out of the Dogs doing, and they would have ripped I think they would have ripped his contract up much earlier if they had the chance to. So Jamara's money is now completely off the books at the Dogs next year. McRae's money's gone. Caleb Daniels' money's gone. They wanted to re-sign Bailey Smith. He chose to go elsewhere. I think the Dogs, it's not St Kilda Worcester areas, but they're building a nice little cap space to go after Zach Butters in 12 months' time. So the Dogs
You are obsessed with the Dogs and Zach Butters. The BWC, Bulldogs Worcester.
Making the best of a poor situation.
Butters Worcester, yeah, sure. Yeah.
The Dogs have done pretty well to clear that money for next year and open up some cap room to go hunting.
So he grew up barracking for the Dogs?
Correct.
Right.
Actually, Justin Reid, the Crows list manager, has twice now in the last 5 days said that Kalachi, I think he's a listener of the show.
Justin Reid is?
Well, he must be.
Yeah, well, he's built a very good list. It's taken him a while, but he got there.
You've been slow on the Crows.
I've been slow on the Crows. They made the grand final in 2017 and didn't play another final until this year. I've been slow on the Crows. The Crows have been slow.
No, in the last 12 months you've been slow. And now you're saying they've got a good list.
I said 6 months out they wouldn't win a final. They finished top and didn't win a final.
Yeah, they come up against some good teams.
They played shithouse. They choked against Collingwood. And who's the other team? Hawthorn, they were awful.
And their A-grade forward didn't get a kick in the second one.
Now. Taylor Walker had a very good final.
In the first one?
Yep. And was okay in the second one. He was okay. Now, the final award is the Worsties Award. Have you done your due diligence on my whiteboard? We both tell each other who our worst whiteboard member was and why.
Yeah, yours is Ben King. It's just the only one I can remember.
Why is mine Ben King?
Because I don't think he was ever going anywhere.
I don't think he was ever going anywhere either. It was a setback for me. I don't think Ben King will finish his career on the Gold Coast.
No, I'm not going to disagree with that.
Okay. Yours was Brandon Starcevich. I just found the whole story just so boring. The whole time.
He's a two-time best and fair.
He's going to West Coast. We'll never see him again.
He's shut out Tom Papley and Patrick Dangerfield in back-to-back premierships.
I'm asleep. I'm actually asleep.
Once again, unless they're a private school star, Sam doesn't want to know.
Nasty. The chip on your shoulder.
He may have actually gone to a private school in WA. I'm not sure.
yeah, exactly right. He probably did. We finished the Tradies Awards last year by doing a quick update on Tassie. Should we do that again? I'll start with my update.
What about it? Yeah.
This is the update on Tassie. That's it.
I'm still taking Nate Caddy as a future star.
Oh my God.
Actually, speaking of Tassie, I know I said this a few days ago, but Alex Taru, the Flying Viking, they're going to throw the kitchen sink at him. We should also mention, who's your first name on your 2026 whiteboard?
Sorry, just let me get this straight. Tasmania with all the money in the world. They've got everyone in a room. Who should we go after? Who should we go after? Should we go after Kerno? No. Should we go after Harley Reid? No. You're saying
not
Alex Taru.
I'm just
sort of like, wow.
Once again, Sam refuses to watch players unless they've got 50 names to their games to their name.
50 names to their game, okay. The Apprentice is going down well.
He's going to be an out-and-out star, and I think he'll be one of the names on their whiteboard.
What's he? Okay. Do you think Alex Taru, at some stage in his career, will be on the A graders whiteboard?
Yes.
Oh my, that's just such
Is that
take.
outlandish?
That's a poor take.
Who's the first name on the 2026 whiteboard? Provided we're back
for
just next year.
Just in general whiteboard. That's a good question. When does Dacos's deal expire?
2029, I reckon.
Yeah, it's probably not him. Harley Reid, that's nasty. And cheap as well. Nasty. You're one of those people that walks past me from 100 metres goes, they won't pick him, bitch. Really hurts me.
Do you get that more than anything?
What do I get the most of? Yeah, probably that. They won't pick him.
Somehow I've been brought into it too.
You don't get people yelling at you from 100 metres away?
They do.
What do they yell?
They won't pick him.
But... People ask me if I regret saying that. And I obviously do, because they picked him. Having said that, it's been pretty good for the pod.
Yeah, you're not wrong. We need pins or something. Or caps.
Where is your 7 pin?
Again, it's on a broadcast day.
Oh, boy. Okay.
You got a name? You got a name?
No, I don't have a name yet.
All right, Zach Merritt for me.
Oh. Every Essendon fan just came here to sort of
from the reception we just got, they want him gone.
It didn't need you putting Zach Merritt on the whiteboard literally 24 hours after he's just been refused to trade. That is cheap and nasty.
Sam Mitchell's already got the green bulb next to his name.
Sam Mitchell, by the way, who stayed up in his hotel room until 4 a.m. in Baltimore following the trades. Apparently he was just following you on Twitter. That was it.
I saw a photo of Sam Mitchell with one of the Maguires today over in Columbus.
Which one?
Joe.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and lock into season 4. So that'll be happening. We haven't got any sponsors absolutely locked in yet, but we will be doing the pod. And we're going to keep the bar open for as long as Tim and Carla will allow us to. We're going to stick around for some photos, and thanks for coming.